We did it. Bad Boys for Life is directed by Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence return as Mike and Marcus. This time around, they have to team up with a group of younger officers to track down a mysterious shooter who's coming after people in the Miami Police Department, including Mike. And before we get into it, yes, this video commemorates 100 subscribers. That's crazy. I am super proud of how far this channel has come. Stay tuned to the very end for a special announcement. I actually did a Bad Boys marathon leading up to this one, and it was really interesting to see how different these three movies are from each other, especially since the first two are directed by the same person, Michael Bay. Bad Boys 1 to me actually didn't feel that much like a Michael Bay movie aside from the explosions and crazy action. In terms of visuals, it really looked pretty toned down, I would say, color-wise, and it was not as over the top in terms of the jokes. And then when you skip ahead to the second one, which came out a lot of years later, you definitely see the Michael Bay style with it. You see the really strong orange and teal color grade, really over-the-top action, and the jokes are just crazy. So there's this one now, which I think is actually a balance of what made the Michael Bay movies kind of work, and it also fixed certain things. So I would actually say this one is the best one that I've seen so far. Let's get into it. So what worked? First thing that stood out to me was the action and the fight choreography in this one. Seeing as Michael Bay wasn't involved, you can definitely tell there's a different style to it. The hand-to-hand combat feels a lot more brutal. There's a really great intro fight scene for the villain in this one, who I'll get to later. But that scene made me go like, ooh, that was really good. There is also a lot of big action scenes that may seem kind of unrealistic, but if you're a Bad Boys fan, you're kind of used to that already. But I would say that in terms of the carnage and how much destruction these two men are causing, I feel like they toned it down compared to the other two, especially number two. Number two, they really caused a lot of havoc. But in this one, I do think they really hold back and do some really unique, crazy and over top still, but I do think I enjoyed the action in this one the most. Next thing, the story. I think this is actually the most focused movie. There was a very clear point A, point B to where they were starting, where they were ending. And the story is a lot more personal to the characters, so you're invested more in what's going on. They also have some really big surprises in terms of the action and the villains, what they're doing. They are brutal in this one, which I think makes them more compelling and a lot more interesting to watch. I also enjoyed the new characters they threw into the mix, specifically the Team Ammo, which is the group of younger cops led by Paula Nunez's Rita. I loved their addition to this. I thought they were a great counterpoint or foil to Mike and Marcus. They were more tactical, they thought before they did something, and they were more stealthy, whereas Mike and Marcus are very hands-on, don't listen to protocol, they just kind of run in, guns blazing, and cause a whole bunch of destruction. And I really thought the tension between Mike and this group really worked because they were so different in their styles, but they have to learn to work together. Let's talk villains. I think these are actually the best villains in the franchise so far. The first two movies I don't think had solid villains. I mean, they were fine for an action movie, but I don't think they really offered much in terms of story and character development. Whereas these villains, they're savages. They have a connection to our heroes that makes them more compelling. And I thought they were just really well executed in terms of the action and their storytelling. Going back to the story, I do think they tread on some familiar territory in terms of telling that story of, oh, our characters are getting too old for this, they're thinking of retiring, a new group of heroes is coming in. They do tread on some of that stuff, but I think it's done in an interesting way that doesn't feel too cliche. I wasn't rolling my eyes like, oh, here we go again. I think they did make it interesting and it fit for this group of characters. And lastly, comedy. Of course, the Bad Boys franchise is known for being both action-packed and hilarious, and I think this one is no different. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith still bring the laughs in this one. I think I actually laughed a lot harder in this one. And they also have some callback jokes, so if you were someone who's been watching from the beginning, or you watched the other ones recently, then you will definitely find some jokes a lot funnier because you will get the references. What could have been better? For me, there were only two things that really stood out to me. One, I think they could have tidied up the pacing a little bit. It did slow down in some parts. I think there were some extra action scenes that we didn't totally need, or maybe didn't need to go as long as they did. But I still did enjoy this movie in terms of the story, and I think it was more focused, but I feel like they could have cut down on some of the time. And second, I think you could tell that these directors were trying to emulate Michael Bay's style. They did have the rotating camera. They did have some of the orange and teal. I do think it would have worked for them to just do their own personal thing instead of trying to mimic Michael Bay stuff. Now, they do still have three distinct styles between these three movies, so it also doesn't really make much sense to try and make it like Michael Bay's because even his two movies don't look the exact same. The verdict. I think Bad Boys for Life is a great time. If you're a fan of the franchise, I think you will enjoy this movie. If you were someone that was kind of on the fence about the first two, I think this one will definitely work for you because they fix a lot of issues that I think the first two had. This was more focused, had tighter action scenes, better character development, so there's definitely a lot here. And this is a January movie. This is the second January movie that I actually enjoyed. So if you're looking for something to watch, go watch Bad Boys or Underwater. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I made it to 100 subscribers. To give back to you, the audience, I want to do a giveaway. How it's going to work, leave a comment down below what movies you are looking forward to in 2020. And I will do a raffle and pick 3 winners. First place will get a $25 Fandango gift card so you can go see whatever movie you want. Second place will get a free edit of a picture of your choice, because I'm a photographer if you didn't know. And third place will get to choose a movie review for me to do. You pick whatever movie you want and I will watch it and I will review it. So you have 1 week to leave a comment down below and I will do the raffle and we'll give away some cool stuff. So thank you for watching since the beginning, for those who've been here since the beginning, or if you've just started subscribing now. Either way, I very much appreciate you coming to watch my videos and subscribing. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.